Hello and welcome to the Weekend Sauce. My name is Corey.
And I'm Dom.
We are back after a Easter weekend break. How was your Easter, Dom?
It was pretty
Pretty
good,
good?
besides me being sick in bed,
Yeah,
but
that
it was pretty
was,
good.
yeah, you sounded pretty bad when we were chatting there. But yeah, back after a quick break. A bunch of stuff kind of happened this week in terms of gaming news and such. So first, we're going to start off with the two recently revealed titles for Persona 5. One of them is kind of a re-release, the expanded re-release, Persona 5 R, Persona 5 Royal. And then the other release, interestingly enough, which was Persona 5S, is actually called Persona 5 Scramble, which is kind of like a Dynasty Warriors type game. So talking about that a little bit. Also,
Muso.
yeah, Muso, that's it. Yeah. Also, we've got we recently this week we had the For Honor Year 3 Season 2 live stream, Warriors Den for the Sakura release, and
Mm-hmm.
all the patch notes and everything with that. So talking about that as well. And then just ending off with some thoughts on Mortal Kombat. Did come out this week as well, so just a few thoughts on gameplay, story, that sort of thing. So just jumping right into it with Persona 5, right? So I think it was a few weeks back where we had a teaser of a teaser, if I'm getting that right,
That's right.
for Persona 5R, and then also some like rumors and things about Persona 5S. So you had people who were thinking Persona 5S was Persona 5 Switch, right? Because Joker had been announced for Smash Ultimate, so the sort of logical connection was that Persona 5 would be coming to Switch, which would
That'd
be,
be nice.
yeah, pretty neat, right? I mean,
I'd get it.
I don't think there's ever been a Persona game on Nintendo consoles
Nope.
before, so it'd be first, right? And Persona 5, I like Persona 5 a
Well,
lot,
unless
so
maybe, I don't know, was Persona Arena ever? But that's not really a
I don't
Persona
think
game.
so, no.
But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what the kind of the sort of general rumor went along. It was going to be a Switch port. Then yeah, as it is instead, we have Persona 5S, Persona 5 Scramble, which like we said, is a Dynasty Warriors Muso type game with original story stuff and all those sort of additions. It's really interesting to me, particularly because of kind of how a lot of the other spin-off games have worked. So like we've had kind of the mainline Persona titles come out, and then they've also forayed into like, I mean, obviously there's Persona Dancing All Night, right, which is a rhythm game. A few like kind of extra RPGs with like Persona Q, if I'm remembering that correctly. Um, Fighting game, Persona Arena Ultimax, those types of things. So it's like I've seen a lot of people who haven't been really pleased with the Persona 5S announcement, which I mean, understandably, if they believed that it was coming to Switch, I can definitely understand. Um, I'm not super disappointed that it's a Muso game, right? I don't like. I'm not a huge fan of those types of games, but they're not bad, right? They're very they're very samey in a lot of aspects. I feel, just with a different sort of polish, right? I mean,
Different twang,
yeah, I
taste to it.
mean, on Nintendo console we had the Hyrule Warriors on Switch, right? Which was or Switch or Wii U, I can't remember. Anyway,
I don't know. I think it was Wii U at the time.
yeah.
Maybe a
But
Switch.
Hyrule Warriors, which is just Legend of Zelda Muso. Then we also had the Fire Emblem one.
That's right.
Yeah, which also, I mean, again, looks really neat. It's just basically a Dynasty Warriors game with the Fire Emblem machine. I've always been a big fan of Gundam Dynasty Warriors in the past, obviously, because I'm a huge Gundam fan. There really isn't a huge amount of differences that end up happening. It's kind of like the same sort of formula every time. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to pick it up or not. I might take a look at it just for some of the extra story stuff, like side story stuff that they end up doing. So, I mean, we'll have to see about that. I mean, what do you think? Like, are you disappointed that it's not like a Switch port? Do you really care at all? Like,
I do care. I'm not gonna say that I don't. As the same thing that you stated, right? Okay, it's not that I'm disappointed or anything. I didn't really expect much. Like my hype kind of died down
yeah,
after announcement of the
yeah,
announcement. You know what I
teaser
mean?
of teasers, and
Teaser of
yeah, it was
teasers.
kind of yeah,
So after that, and now that I finally have it, when you hear that Persona 5R,
yeah.
right,
Just get
which is
into a
just kind of
second,
like
yeah,
Persona 4 Golden,
yeah.
it's kind of exciting a little bit for me because I didn't pick up Persona 5, so I'm like, oh, okay, it's kind of like I get the completed version, you know what
Mhm.
I mean? The completed version.
Yeah. Well, no, it's interesting you say that actually, because when I was going to say one of the first things I was going to ask you is like, were you planning on getting Persona 5R? Because it's been I think 2 years now since Persona 5 came out, which is like, geez, where does the time go anyway? But I remember like I was sitting there thinking on if I should get it at release date or wait, right? Because I've never played a Persona game on release date. I've always come after or like with the like the complete version, if you will. And I was like, you know what? This time I'm gonna go for it. I want to be able to talk about it. I want to be able to play it, which I don't regret because Persona 5 is a pretty good game. I probably prefer Persona 4, not for any like explicit or like even objective reasons. It's just like Persona 4 is more like a personable story and game, whereas like Persona 5 is more it's a lot different in like its themes and everything. Still really good. Still a lot of fun.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I loved Persona 4 Golden. Had to emulate that stuff.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
it was about.
I had to emulate it too. Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to get Persona 5. What stopped me was a lot of delays of the game.
Mhm.
That game and Kingdom Hearts 3. Don't know why I picked up Kingdom Hearts 3. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's not to say Kingdom Hearts is a bad game. But regardless, back to Persona 5. Yeah, I guess it's kind of nice what they're doing with the IP, kind of branching out into other things. Um, Part of me wants to say you should just stay in your lane, but at the same time, I think it's good that they're branching out. I actually enjoy Persona Arena.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I don't think like the side games are like bad or anything. You know what I mean? It's just I feel like a lot of the sort of disappointment comes from like it not being a Switch port,
mhm.
and that's basically it. Like it's the game itself is again, it's a Muso game. They're not super in depth or like super kind of good or bad. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the disappointment just comes from it not being on the Switch. For Persona 5R, at least for me, I'm a bit disappointed just because I would really like to have all the new stuff and expanded stuff that will be coming in Persona 5 Royal. I don't want to re-buy the game though. You know what I mean?
Give me your money.
Yeah, it's
Give
like
it
I
to
liked
me.
Persona. You know what I mean? Like I really like the series and the IP and everything, but I don't think I'm gonna end up like buying the game a second time just for like a few months
You
extra of
need this
time, a
new
new
character.
character.
Come here,
Yeah, I
Corey.
guess we should say like actually what's in the Royal version. So you've got an entirely new and additional party member, um, whose name I am sorry, it's Kasumi Yoshizawa, a transfer student at the high school that you guys go to. I believe she's in first year. So kind of the same deal as the main character, the player character. I think he's in second year though, just transfer student type deal. Um, it's interesting that she's a party member because like I don't know if you remember in the teaser, but she's talking about how she's not really a fan of the Phantom Thieves. So I
Yeah.
guess she comes around at some point, or maybe she's like a double agent, or I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, she comes around and ends up joining the party of the players. I don't think they showed her persona, so I'm interested to see what that is. She
Did they add a release date actually for Persona 5?
Yeah, well
I didn't
they
see.
so for us here in the West, we've got a 2020 release date.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's October. Yeah, it's October in Japan. So that's great. We got to wait a long time again. But yeah, one of the things that I was seeing a lot for Kasumi was like um, just a lot of talk on her design. Stuff that I've seen is that it's very similar to Joker's kind of design in the Shadow World, where it's like kind of like a domino mask type thing, black primary color, flowing coat, the whole deal there. I think she uses if she doesn't use daggers, she uses something that looks very similar at least. A lot of people have been criticizing some of the more, I guess you could call sexualized aspects of her design. You've seen it, right? Like where
Yeah, I
it's
have seen
yeah.
it.
So what I've been able to sort of glean, at least from people talking about it, in relation to what they've been able to translate from Japanese trailers and things like that, is that she either is a gymnast or she's involved in gymnastics, and so like her Phantom Thief design kind of plays off of that, where she's wearing a leotard.
Yeah.
I mean, she's wearing heels, so I don't know if the connection is like super great, but yeah, she's wearing a leotard, and like this like long flowing jacket. Um, I don't really have a huge problem with it either way. I,
I mean, I feel
you
like the
know,
Phantom Thieves have always had, at least the females have always had like a femme fatale. You know what I mean? Like femme
yeah,
fatale.
yeah,
Uh,
to a certain extent, right? I mean,
attired
like,
with it.
yeah, On's Phantom Thief outfit is like this really tight, leather bodysuit with,
Mhm.
and like she's got the whole cat motif. Um, Makoto's is the whole like
Yeah, it's
punk
very
rock Iron Maiden,
tight
still
fitting
very tight.
clothing.
I mean, Haru is more, I guess, I don't really know the word to describe it. Hers isn't like
That's true,
overtly
actually.
sexualized. She's got like those big puffy pants, which are hilarious, and like her mask is just like a fedora, like with a Yankee Doodle thing in her head, her hat. So I don't know. I mean, like I've been seeing a lot of people doing like redesigns of Kasumi's Phantom Thief outfit where they're like, this looks way better or this is less sexualized. And I mean, like really the only one that I've seen that actually looks better, at least in my opinion, is like where she's just wearing like it just covers up her legs like she's wearing leggings or something, which I mean barely looks any different, but
Mhm.
it makes I mean again it makes sense if you want to like cover her up. My main beef with the design is kind of it just looks a bit bland. Like she's just wearing all black.
And
You
just
know,
heels.
yeah, she's like wearing all black, and I've like again I've seen some mock-ups where people like add some color in there at the very least. And I'm like, yeah, that looks way better, right? I mean, like I think it would I think she would benefit a lot by like sprucing up her design. I mean, that's not gonna happen because
Or most of the Phantom Thieves though just like straight black, or at least have most of it's just black
yeah, it's
because
usually
they're
black with
thieves.
something else, right? So like Joker is like black, but then he has a lot of gray and red in it.
Mhm.
Ryuji's the same, but then he also has like his scarf and his blonde hair on his full red.
Yeah.
Obviously, Yusuke has a lot of the white. Futaba is a lot of neon green and black. Haru is more white. More white with a bit of black. Makoto is more almost like navy and black. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Organa is a black cat, so I don't really think he counts. Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody? No, I think that's it.
No, that's it.
So yeah, usually it's like it's like black with something, or like black is an accent color instead of just like full black. Because
Mhm.
yeah, hers is just like she has a black leotard with black heels, black thigh-high heels, I should say, a black coat, and I think she has a silver mask or a gray mask. So a little bit of breakup, but
Okay.
maybe they could touch it up a bit. Um, Again, we'll have to see. We have to wait until 2020 to get it here in the West. Again, I'm not sure if I'm even going to buy it because I don't really, at this point, I don't really feel like rebuying Persona 5 as much as I do enjoy the game.
Maybe you'll win the lottery, Corey, in
Maybe.
2020,
It would
and
be,
you'll have the opportunity to buy Persona 5
that'd be
R.
really nice. Also, would be really nice if they just did like a DLC type thing where they're like, hey, you can just like get like we made it a DLC for you, so you can just buy it, and then if you have Persona 5, you don't have to drop like $100 because
That would
games
make
nowadays are
sense.
$100. Is
That
that gonna
makes
happen?
sense.
We'll see. Probably not. I don't have any high hopes for that. Um, but we'll see. Again, they have like a bunch of extra stuff. Like they've allowed you to play through some of the months that, or some of the dates and months that got skipped for various reasons. I think there's more stuff you can do with party members, like more dates and more hangouts and things like that. So we'll see. Right? It'll be again. I really like Persona just as a series, so it's always nice to get more content for it. Whether or not that content is like properly implemented in terms of like
If you think about it, Corey, it's like DLC just at the cost of a full
is
game.
it DLC or is it just re-releasing the game with like
No, no, no,
extra
it's
stuff so that
DLC.
it makes everybody who bought it on release kind of look like a schmuck? Like I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, at the very least, if I don't end up buying it, I'm just gonna like watch the extra stuff on YouTube or something.
It
Cause
seems like an old practice, really, because it's like back in the day with fighting games. You have Super Street Fighter,
yeah, and then
Ultra
they have
Street
like
Fighter, yeah,
yeah,
Super
yeah,
Ultra.
yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like maybe just for this game, the devs are a little bit behind in
Maybe.
times.
I mean, they
I
did
don't
it
know.
with Persona 4, right? And I think I would
But
honestly argue.
Persona 4 came out how many years
Yeah, I
ago?
was gonna argue that like Persona 4 is nowhere near as popular as Persona 4 Golden, right? So maybe that's what they're thinking. They're like, we did a Persona 4, we can do a Persona 5. But they're like,
I got it. Full game.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. Again, I really hope they do a DLC thing. Not holding my breath though. So, um, either way, I'm excited to see the new stuff. But again, if I don't get to play it, that's gonna kind of suck. So maybe we'll have to revisit it when the time comes. That's in a whole year, basically, though. So.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for now. In more relevant and upcoming news, because the patch comes out next week. Yeah, we got For Honor year 3, season 2.
That's
I
right.
keep getting that wrong, or I keep having to make sure I get that right. With Sakura.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's right.
Hero name officially is Hitokiri.
And the male is Yato, I think.
Yeah, so like you have Black Prior and then Vortiger and then
Whatever her name is, I
whatever
don't
the
know.
female name is. I can't remember. I always feel bad. But then same thing. The hero is Hitokiri. The female character is named Sakura. And the male character is Yato. So you didn't end up watching the whole stream there, right? Like
No,
you kind of just picked through the
I went
highlights and
through and
stuff.
picked through everything that I wanted to
Yeah.
see.
So real quick. So in terms of like background and lore and stuff, I'm actually kind of impressed with what they've done. So for the samurai, a hitokiri is an executioner who's lost their way, and now they just kind of go around killing people. And so the idea is that they bring these hitokiri into their army or into their clans or whatever have you to sort of give them a purpose instead of just them going around murdering people. The way that they've kind of put that into each of the two sort of male female characters is different, but it makes sense. Again, I'm pretty impressed with what they've done. So to start with Sakura, who she's the main kind of version of Hitokiri, like the capstone version. So she was, again, an executioner, and she was kind of like Lawbringer in a sense, where like she'd just be going around from village to village, killing criminals, hunting people who did bad stuff, that sort of thing. And so she did that for a while, never really feeling kind of like any remorse or grief or anything. It was kind of just, she just did it because that's what she does. And then she went to her home village to go execute a man. I believe his name was Ryoji. Not that it matters, because what ended up happening is that she kind of lifted up her axe to cut this guy's head off, and then she kind of snapped, right? And so
Hmm.
the next memory that she had is Ryoji's head kind of rolling at her feet, and then her turning around and seeing like her whole village just being massacred and on fire. Because what had happened is that she had gone crazy and just killed everybody. So she's looking at her village and everything. She's seeing the spirits. I do air quotes because I mean the legitimacy of such a thing is probably not true.
Hey, it's a game.
Well, I'm just saying like in universe you have this again this
I'm just busting your chops.
she's described as being very kind of crazy and very I'm not gonna say malicious. What's the word I'm looking for? Fatalistic,
Okay.
right? So like she's seeing these spirits and like in her mind she's doing a good thing by killing people and taking their souls and making them into spirits and everything. So yeah, she would do that. She would go around doing that, still killing people, just very indiscriminately. And again, she would believe that she's doing a good thing. And then one day she ended up fighting this really strong Kensei, obviously a character in the game, who instead of killing her, decided that he would kind of incorporate her into her army so that she wouldn't go around killing random people. So then now that's what she's up to. She kills these warriors for the samurai faction because she believes she's doing a good thing by taking their souls, and because obviously it's better than just being an indiscriminate murderer. So all great.
Yeah,
For
I like the approach that they're taking actually with this set of heroes for year three. They're
year three,
definitely
yeah,
doing a more darker, more serious approach to the
yeah,
heroes, which is a definitely different take than we have now, right?
yeah. Well, I'm really into like how they're at least doing their like they're trying. You know what I mean? Like I mentioned Lawbringer there. Like really, the whole lore behind Lawbringer is that it's just you have this 6'5" giant in armor who just goes around from town to town laying down the law. It's in the name, right? Um, which is pretty basic. So you have kind of themes and sort of considerations that can be attached to that. It's not really fleshed out though. So with these new heroes, they're definitely taking themes and things like that, and they're definitely fleshing them out a bit. I know there was one guy. I believe he was the art director, or at least or he was either the senior art director or the junior art director, top guy or secondary, whatever. But basically, they were saying that like they have like words that they attach to their new heroes. So I believe for Hitokiri it was relentless. I'd like to say insane. I'm not sure if that's one. And tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like, and that kind of goes into like the whole all aspects of their character, so story and gameplay, which we'll get into gameplay a bit after. Just to move on to Yato, who has a very kind of again, it's very similar in the sense that like Yato was created as this executioner who loses his mind.
Mm-hmm.
For him, he was a Hitokiri, but he was also an assassin for his family clan. So his family would send him to go kill people so that their family could get better, and that kept on happening until one day his father tasked him with killing the local daimyo, which he was going to do. When he arrived to go kill him, turns out it was a trap because his family had grown to fear him. So they sort of set up this trap to have the daimyo and his guards and their family kill him, and he snapped, killed everybody, right? Decided that he was just going to kind of kill anybody who stood in his way, and then again sort of murdered people indiscriminately until he met up with the samurai faction and decided that he was going to fight with them. So now that's sort of fleshed out as Sakura, but kind of the same idea where it's you have this sort of madman executioner with sort of mystic attachments who decides that they're gonna at least.
So tell me, are you like a big fan of For Honor lore? Because I know recently, you know what happened with Black Prior,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And how they took actual in-game activities of how
Hmm.
the knights always
Yeah,
hold.
faction wars and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So with faction wars, and they're kind of incorporating it, kind of like a little Journal of Justice, like,
Yeah.
but like in For
Yeah.
Honor
Good
fashion.
throwback. Yeah. Um, I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of it. It's what they do is kind of interesting, right? Because again, I'll bring back the comparison between Lawbringer and Hitokiri because they do serve, at least in initial consideration, they do serve like a very similar role where it's like they go around places killing criminals, things like that, right? With the Lawbringer, this is not done in an overtly malicious way. It's more like of a justice type thing. So you can picture a Lawbringer character being very justice oriented. They go around. It's almost like they're like a police force type thing where it's like when they get there, you got to be on your best behavior, lest the Lawbringer kick in your door and parry you and impale you, right? With the Hitokiri, it's the same function where they go around killing criminals, but it's entirely different. It's all these aren't basically murderers that you're running from. It's not like the police force. It's like you're basically fighting insane criminals who literally exist just to like murder you in the most sort of aggressive fashion possible, right? Because like I mentioned, the words that they use like relentless and tyrant and things like that. It's like you have these again crazed essentially serial murderers. If you see their design, they have the masks and the dolls on their waists and everything. They look crazy, right? So it's like if if you're a random criminal in the For Honor universe and a Hitokiri is chasing after you, it's like you're probably gonna be scared out of your mind. If it's a Lawbringer, you probably would still be scared, but it's more just like,
Oh yeah, no doubt, like for
yeah.
sure.
You know what I'm saying though? It's like I'm really into like these different sort of
Even their armor, right, that they have in the game.
yeah.
It's not necessarily like more of like an edgy sense. It's just very creepy
Yeah,
in the
it's
type
supposed
of
to
tone
be.
that it brings.
Yeah, it's supposed to invoke these types of sort of mystical considerations, especially with specifically obviously to Japanese culture, because like a lot of the motifs and things that end up like occurring within the Hitokiri, at least with what they've shown us, is like there's a lot of demon iconography, a lot of ghost iconography, right? So like it's almost like this apparition, this yokai or something is like coming out of the mist to kill you and steal your soul. It's like Jesus Christ, that's horrifying, as opposed to like the Lawbringer who's just a regular guy, but he's obviously very imposing. Again, 6'4" and like this giant armor, right? So it's just like I'm really into these like sort of thematic
So what do
things that
you?
they
So
apply
if you
to.
had to fight one back in the day,
If
who
I had
would
to
you
fight
take?
one back in the
The
day,
fully armored man,
I would,
or
or the insane mystical killer with a giant axe. That's
That's
a
right.
really tough one. I would say Lawbringer before his upcoming rework, right? Because that's happening, which
That's
I'm
right.
very excited about. Really interesting, actually. Let's get into gameplay now because it's really
yeah,
interesting.
we could talk about
because
Hitokiri or just like the patch
let's
overall.
the whole thing, right? Because one of your favorite characters,
Oh,
perhaps
yeah.
your favorite character. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Raider. Right?
Yeah,
Favorite
yeah,
or
yeah.
one of your favorites?
Started the game. I was like,
You
I want
started
to
with
play a
Raider,
guy.
yeah.
I want to play Raider.
Yeah.
Big axe, that's my thing.
Yeah.
I like axe.
Yeah, so you started with Raider, I started with Lawbringer, and then we've been bemoaning the state of where they've been for so long, and now in this one patch, they're both getting tuned up, which is really interesting, pretty coincidental. But yeah, I mean, we've got in the patch, of course. Let's get
Well,
down
we'll
to
go
it.
to Hitokiri. We'll start with
Yeah,
Hitokiri.
we'll start with
skip.
Hitokiri. So Hitokiri is again the way that they've described them is very sort of aggressive. So they're a heavy character for the samurai faction. Obviously, they wield a Masakari, I think it's called. It's a
I don't know the
yeah.
actual term
It's
or
it's
name.
it's an axe. It's a two-headed axe. They did say they took some liberties with it because it wasn't actually a weapon overtly used
Okay.
throughout Japanese history. So they kind of just like played with it, which is fine. It's whatever. So they use the giant axe, which is how they become heavy. The way they play is heavy oriented, right? So their main combo, I think perhaps their only combo, I can't quite remember, is this infinite heavy chain.
That's right.
Yeah, so you start your chain, you have super armor on your first hit, then you do heavy, 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 and then whenever you want to end off, you do a light, and then you end it with super armor on the end of your combo. So
Yeah. So there's super armor at the start and end of
yeah,
the
start
combos.
and the end. The emphasis is on again barraging your opponent with heavies, mixing it up. They do give you a few different ways of playing around with that. You can cancel your heavies. You can charge them up for an unblockable. Hitokiri also has a kick.
And it
So-
sweeps you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's a version that's a sweep and a version that's a kick as well.
Okay.
So again, kind of like ways to play around with what you're doing, even within that. And then
Even her feats kind of play to that whole
yeah, yeah.
executioner
Well,
thing,
I was
right?
going, yeah, I was going to say, especially for the feats too, because like there's always, obviously, sorry, there's emphasis on heavying. So like
Hmm.
your feats really play into that, like you said, right? With the first feat, is that you get super armor and a shield when you're executing.
Hmm. And I don't think she can be stopped when she's executing,
Well, she has,
or is that a perk?
yeah. So her first feat gives her super armor and
Okay.
a shield. So you have to break through the shield, but then she also has super armor when she's executing. So interesting. After that is you have this like, um, is that the second feat or the third feat? The one with the mark?
The one with the mark that heals everybody?
Yeah,
I think that might be the third one.
yeah. I'm gonna double check right now, but in any case, so that feat basically makes it so that you mark a target. Yeah. Feat two is a mark. So basically, what you do is you mark a target, and anytime an enemy or yourself kills that target, you and allies around the target gain health regen. Feat three, you get a 30% damage buff after you execute a player. I'm not exactly sure how long that lasts, but 30% is not bad. And feat four, most interestingly, is just a 200 damage hit.
Yeah, and
You
it was
just
so weird
you
when
just
you
hit
see
somebody
it.
for 200 damage flat.
She does like this flip,
Yeah,
and then she chops you with an axe,
yeah.
right? And one of my biggest questions I had is, can I block this,
Yeah,
right?
so it's really interesting because I remember I hopped in our Discord there right after I saw that because I wanted to hear from some of you guys that the guys we play For Honor with, and their immediate thing was like, okay, can you dodge it though? Like, what can you do against it? So, if they mentioned it during the stream, I didn't catch it. It might have kind of,
No, they didn't. I went to go see it.
yeah, like I know for sure what you like. So I remember when they showed it, the host guy said, well, like, is it a one hit kill? And the dev said, basically it's a one hit kill unless you have a shield or like damage reduction or something.
That's right.
So I'm not entirely sure if you can dodge it. Um,
I just
hopefully,
want to know, like, what
I,
does the reticle look like? Is
yeah,
there even anything that pops up,
yeah,
right? Like, I know, like, catapult's not necessarily like a regular attack, but you see this red stuff on the
yeah. You
ground
have
and you can
a
dodge that,
chance to do something. Yeah,
right? Or like, but with Hitokiri, like, is there gonna be like just like red on the floor? Like,
yeah.
is it an actual
hmm
attack? Is it an
there is a bit.
unblockable?
Yeah, there is a bit of wind up. Like she like shoots out these soul
Mm-hmm.
orbs for a second, then does the flip and then hits you. Um, I guess we'll see. I know Blackbriar can do
Bulwark.
his flip. He can flip the Hitokiri when they do that.
Oh, he can.
Yeah, they were saying that during the stream, so that's good, a
So that
good
means it's
sign.
an attack. So
Yeah,
that means it's
that's a
a
good
hit.
sign at the very least, right? I'm sure I'd be surprised if you could parry it. Um, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. It's a bit weird to have like an insta kill. You know what
No,
I
if they
mean?
made it that you could parry it, that'd be kind of bad. That'd
That's
be
what I
really
mean. Yeah.
bad. As much as I don't want to die to that.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, imagine you're a Hitokiri and you're like doing really well, and then like you get parried off your big 200 damage hit. That would just suck, right?
It would, but it
Yeah.
also would suck to just
It would
get
also
hit
just
by
suck,
that.
yeah, to like run up if you're playing Dominion, run up on a point, and then have a Hitokiri kill you in one hit. It's like, well, that was great.
Yeah, I
That was fair.
definitely don't know how I feel about that one, but it's new and it's exciting, I
Yeah.
guess. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, all in all, I'm pretty excited for Hitokiri. Like Blackbriar, I was like, oh, he's neat, but I don't think I'm gonna pick him up. But I'm definitely picking up Hitokiri for sure.
All right.
I'm very interested to see what they are all about, and I love their weapons, their armor, everything. So excited.
Yeah.
Also excited again, like we were mentioning earlier, for the Lawbringer / Raider tune-up. Really, they haven't done a whole lot with it. It's just like number adjustments, if I'm remembering correctly. Like,
That's right. They kind of sold it as a rework,
yeah,
at least for Lawbringer, and kind of like a balance update when it came to Raider.
yeah,
But it was just honestly just kind of changing the numbers on
yeah.
everything. They didn't really add anything to Lawbringer's kit. They
Not
didn't,
really, no.
yeah.
It's like a tune-up. You know what I mean? It's like they looked at the numbers and they said, okay, we'll fix this, whatever have you. So, I mean, I'm excited. I mentioned earlier, we kind of bemoaned the state of Raider and Lawbringer. Lawbringer wasn't unplayable. It's just like a lot of the times it didn't feel great to play him, especially if you're against somebody who knew what they were doing. Because you're very limited in terms of your openers, and obviously a big part of Lawbringer
Yeah.
is reactive gameplays. And
These two characters are similar in the sense where they can survive, and technically they are good if you play perfectly.
Yeah.
But the way that you play with them is you need to sit there and turtle
Yeah.
because all of your openers are awful
Yeah.
and garbage.
It never really felt great to play Lawbringer unless you were against somebody who was really aggressive and you were able to get a lot of parries off. That was great. That didn't really happen that often though, because a lot of people obviously know that you're playing Lawbringer and go slow, be methodical. Um, I don't know. Again, I'm gonna be picking up Hitokiri, so I might not be even be playing Lawbringer for a while, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I think they're the only two who are getting like an extensive look at this patch, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, those are the only two that are getting extensive look at. But in great news, two good things for this patch.
Right.
One, we don't have to sit there after we get gear every single
Some
time.
nice quality of life
which actually made me
changes,
upset.
yeah.
The second thing is Black Prior, Whack Prior is finally going to get nerfed.
Yeah,
He's had his
thank
time
God.
to shine.
Yeah.
Why are you having such a safe offense? Light bash light, okay? And then after, even if you do dodge the bash, you don't even have a chance to do anything. What is
Yeah.
that about?
Yeah, I'm glad that they're addressing some of the more intensive complaints that go along with him, because again, it never really felt great to play against BP. I feel like a lot of the new heroes end up falling prey to this idea where it's not like they're not like explicitly overpowered. They just have so much in their kit compared to the old guys that it's like it never feels great to play against them. That was the case with the Wulin heroes. It was the case with BP. Maybe it'll be the case with Hitokiri. Hopefully not as bad, but
It's definitely going to be as
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, it's not a bad thing that their kit is expansive and it has full of tools. That's not the bad thing. It's just
Yeah.
only bad when other characters don't have close to as many tools.
yeah,
Like, for instance, Raider and PK share very similar kits if you think about it, right? It's same with heavy into
Yeah,
light,
yeah.
and it always goes into top light. They're basically the same character, but the difference is that PK is the bleed variant of
Yeah.
it, right? With the
Yeah.
deflect and
yeah, the assassin variant,
fast
yeah.
zone, while Raider has the unblockable
Mhm.
zone. But now that's a little bit changed after these Raider changes, which I'm very excited about. But we could talk about Lawbringer still a little bit. They're making his top light actually 400 MS, which is crazy fast.
Yeah,
He's
I know.
basically Shaolin.
Yeah, his top light was already pretty fast regardless. I think it was it 300 MS or was it two? No, I think it was 300.
Well, who's?
Lawbringer's top.
Lawbringer's was like 500.
Really?
It was 500, I
What
think.
am I saying 300 for? Okay, never
I
mind.
wish it was 300.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his fastest attacking light. His side lights were 600. Awful. Ugh. But we're removing that. No more 600 lights. Thank Christ.
Yeah.
It just felt like you're throwing out attacks in slow motion and people were just parrying them. But yeah, besides that, they took off shove on block.
Yeah.
But at least shove does work though on heavies.
Yeah.
So if anybody ever
Yeah.
hits you with a heavy, you could always shove then.
Yeah, I don't think that's a huge deal, honestly. I mean, again, the emphasis on Lawbringer is to parry.
hmm
So, I mean, you shouldn't. It makes sense that they would take that away from your kit because, again, they're hoping that you parry.
Yeah, because it generally did stop offense. You're trying to
Yeah.
attack, and it stopped some people.
Yeah, well, it's like
Mind you, sorry, I was
Yeah,
going to
go
say,
ahead.
mind you, it should stop some offenses like cough, cough, berserker. The kid doesn't
Yeah,
know when to
yeah.
stop. But besides
friggin',
that,
friggin' Super Armor Berserker Barrage, like, get away from me. No, I think it's a fair change. Like, if you were playing Lawbringer and you're not good at parrying, well, it's just like you just have to block and then you just keep hitting guard break and you just shove them.
I have a question actually for you
Yeah, go
because I
ahead.
saw this on the subreddit,
Mhm.
and it pertained to old mechanics being removed, but one of them staying. And so you remember how Shugoki had armor back in the day?
Yeah,
where you
permanent
had
super
to-
armor. Yeah.
It was like uninterruptible. That's what the technical term is.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And then it
you
was
hit them and it goes away.
Yeah, and I think it was a 1.5 damage increase after once your armor is gone. Like he would take more damage.
I think so.
I don't remember the exact number, but it's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so once the armor's gone, you take more damage,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you couldn't guard break them, so you always had to guard break them first to really start what's happening. And if you did guard break them, then after the armor goes away, and
Yeah.
then that's when you could start doing stuff.
Yeah, and he had a lot, like a really tough time against like really quick characters. Like I remember I'd be playing Centurion,
hmm
right, and like you have the guaranteed light after the kick, so that would always destroy Shugokis because then their armor's gone. You can just mess with them now.
hmm
So yeah, that was always
And then
that was
after
something
they
that we had
removed
a lot of issues with.
they moved shove on block, right?
Yeah.
Now, one thing that someone said was that since those two are gone, we should also remove Raider's dash guard break, which he actually has.
Yeah,
Uh,
like the fireman's carry type thing.
yes, but he could guard break in the middle of
Oh yeah, yeah,
dashing. So
yeah,
like that's the thing that they really want to like take away.
yeah,
And I kind of felt like that was ridiculous in a sense because it's not like he could do it on a reaction to people that are guard breaking. You have to kind of first implement
yeah. You
it.
kind of
Like
have to lead with it. Yeah,
you have to guess. Like
yeah,
I play this character, I know. Like, but anyway, people just think that you can just do it anyway on reaction. No, that's not exactly how it works. And the reason why people just spam that move on Raider is because he didn't have anything
no,
else.
we did not.
So like if you have slow attacks, of course you're gonna use your fastest
Yeah,
feasible tool, which would
yeah.
be his dash
His
guard
dash
break.
guard break. Yeah.
Now after the rework, I don't want to say he doesn't need it because I haven't played it like many of these people. So I at least want to first play it before I say if Raider's OP. But anyway, I just found that was ridiculous because if anything, he's trying to generate uh, offense. He's
Yeah.
not trying to delay the duel.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad enough to like remove it.
And if he is doing that, you just light him. It's not like a big deal. It's
Yeah.
not like he can get away with it.
No, certainly the other two, the shove and the Shugoki's armor are more intensive. Like for Shugoki back in the day, that was like his main thing.
Yeah, that's his main
That
thing.
was basically his whole kit. It was like you have armor until somebody hits you.
It
so
legitimately
do that.
made the duel longer because you're like,
Yeah.
I have to get rid of the armor.
Yeah.
Now I have to play the regular way. But
Yeah.
first you're like, I have to get rid of the armor.
Yeah, no, I don't think Raiders dash guard break is that intensive to be like to be considered for removal. Like maybe they can tune it up and like fix. Maybe if there is something to be fixed, they could fix some of the timing.
I'd understand it maybe if he got heavy off of guard break. If I got like the 35 damage, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I don't. I get 15 damage off of a light attack, or I get zone, which would be I get zone, which would be 27 or 28.
Yeah.
I can't really remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that costs 50% of my stamina. But
Yeah, it's not like a huge punish when you don't do a whole lot of damage and you're at half stamina. So, I mean, again, I don't think it's a huge issue. Really, if they have to, they'll take a look at it. I don't think they will, though. So,
no.
yeah.
But yeah, Lawbringer also got superior lights on his side.
He did, yeah.
On everything actually. What am I saying sides for?
Is it all lights?
I think it's all lights. I think.
I think, yeah. I mean, either way, like, it's kind of interesting that they ended up going with that for Lawbringer. I guess it's more of an offensive type change, right? They want to make him, they want to put him in a place where you're not just standing there waiting around.
No, the game should never be played
Yeah.
where you're standing there waiting for a parry. You get it, and you're finally like, yes, I can do 40 damage. All right, back to parrying.
Yeah. Or like,
Back to waiting.
yeah. Or like, I know for for Lawbringer, obviously one of the best feelings is hitting a nice light parry and then hitting them with the unblockable top heavy
Yes.
and going off of that.
So they actually made this unblockable faster, I think.
They did, yeah, which is a fair change. I do know a lot of people you basically couldn't hit that unless you hit a light parry. So I'm okay with that change because that's one of his coolest moves, I
Yes,
think.
that Mortem is amazing.
Yeah, more Tamina Biku's, bro. It's his coolest move, I think.
It really is.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, it's really tough to like actually like decisively say anything on the changes until we actually play them. But I'm pretty impressed with what they've got so far, and I'm looking forward to it for sure. Just because, again, playing Lawbringer right now a lot of the times isn't nearly as fun as other heroes, other characters. So
No, I resonate with that. I
Yeah.
had to stop playing Raider for the sake of my mental health.
because he's the big minion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to write a letter to Ubisoft on the whole thing. I wrote two. That's how upset I was because
Yeah.
I was looking at other characters. I completely get what you mean by like you have to stop playing a character because, oh boy, this game is not good for your health.
Yeah.
Stay away from this game. I'm joking.
No, For Honor is a very interesting game. It is almost a fighting game that has no honor and is full of horrible people and mean people and trash talkers, but it's still great. So I don't know. It's almost like Ubisoft's weird little, I don't want to say hidden gem, but it's weird. You know?
With these two characters, actually, they also removed ganking. Some of the ganking
Yeah,
power that
some
they
of the,
had,
yeah.
right?
Like I know for Shugoki, his hug. For Raider, his fireman carry.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else.
And for Lawbringer,
yeah.
his no
His-
supprestus,
yeah.
whatever.
You can interrupt those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I like that. I like that a lot because I hate the Shugoki hug right now. Hate it with all my heart and soul. I think it's I'm glad they took a look at Shugoki, but they still need to fix that frickin' hug.
No, it's a good change. No one likes that stuff in 4v4. All it does is make you see red.
Yeah. Well, it's like you're just like it's the again, it's ganking, right? You're just standing there fighting somebody honorably, so to speak, and then you just get carried by a raider and thrown into the drink like 20 feet away. It's like, oh, that's great. I feel
Really have
great.
fun there. Then you come back and the same thing happens to you
Yep.
by a different character.
Yep. You get thrown into the drink every single time. I'm glad. I'm glad that they did that though, because especially again, I'm definitely biased with the Shugoki hug, but I'm glad that they took a look at everything regardless.
Another thing they're taking a look at would be revenge. After the last patch with the revenge changes, they kind of toned down the revenge gain.
Yep.
Feats no longer gain revenge. Actually, no, feats do. Sorry, still, but 2v2s don't give. Sorry, 2v1s don't give as much.
Yeah.
3v1s don't give as much revenge.
They've
in
kind
general,
of. I think
right?
they've reduced numbers across the board, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay, sorry. I'm completely wrong. So they took out it in 1v1s, but they increased it across the board. That's what they did
Oh,
before.
okay. Sorry.
Right. But now they're reducing everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before, actually, you would legitimately just guard break once.
Yeah.
And then
That was always the
after
worst.
someone just gets revenge, and you're like, well, okay,
Yeah,
well,
that's always the worst.
I guess it's worth it for you, but sometimes at the same time, it would not work at all. And you're just sitting there,
Like,
no
where's my
revenge,
revenge?
no revenge, no revenge. There's 3 people on me. Where is my...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really not fun when you're getting like bullied by a bunch of guys and your revenge meter is going up super slowly, and then like you're in a 2v or you're in a 1v1, and then your teammate comes and just guard breaks the guy and he gets a bunch of revenge. It's like, okay.
No, the best is when you're 1v1ing a guy legitimately and he gets revenge. And you're thinking there like, who's controlling
Yeah,
this?
who's around to make this guy even gain any revenge at all? Like, I thought it was just us.
Legitimately.
It's just
And
weird.
it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah. So hopefully, I'm looking forward to this patch because we've got some nice quality life changes, some good reworks or at least tune-ups, and Hitokiri.
Hmm.
So I think it's good. I think they're gonna, again, hopefully,
Very exciting patch.
Yes.
New weapons too.
yeah, new weapons. They don't look super great. They're all blues, I think you were telling me, right?
They're all blues. Some
Yeah.
of them actually look a little bit okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too excited. I've never gotten the hype behind real weapons.
Yeah.
If
I
you want
mean,
real weapons, you can just use the default ones, okay? That's
yeah, I mean, like, I'm cool with real like historical accuracy and realistic stuff, but I mean, like, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna be upset if they take some liberties, and I'd really rather a cool looking weapon than like a realistic looking weapon.
yeah, like Shaman's new weapon that she got it just looks like a normal blade with
Yeah.
some metal prints on it.
Peacekeeper's sword and dagger, the new one,
That actually just looks like the default thing.
looks like a default weapon. I'm like, that I would not want to get that in a drop or in a crate. So,
But yeah.
yeah, we'll see. Um,
Yeah, so moving on
I was
to
gonna say finally, kind of the less ideal of the 3 things today. We got Mortal Kombat 11.
yeah,
right?
so Mortal Kombat 11 came out this Tuesday that just passed.
Tuesday, yeah, 23rd.
And I got it on both PC
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
both PlayStation. I didn't think I would, but it just ended up happening that way.
Yeah.
So my initial thoughts. Oh, Corey, did you get it?
So I bought MK11 on the 22nd. I started preloading it, and it was gonna take like a very, very long time,
Okay.
like a day and a half, basically, because my internet is not great right now.
Okay.
And I was just like, I'm just gonna refund it because keep that money,
Mhm.
$79 for games in Canada, and I just didn't feel like waiting that long. If anything, I'll end up picking it up on PS4 because I've heard the PC port is not that great.
Yeah.
So,
So we
yeah.
could talk about that at the start. I remember when I first found out. Actually, it wasn't through like Reddit or any social media or anything at all. I was just legitimately trying to bring my Shao Kahn combos from my PS4 that I practiced
Yeah.
to come beat my friend John on the PC, which
Yeah.
is one of the main reasons that I got it. I also thought Corey was gonna get it on PC, but
Yeah,
he
I
soon
did
probably
tell
will
him.
or whatever. I
I
don't
did
know.
tell you that. I feel bad now.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But yeah. So I was so shocked. I was like, "What's going on here? I'm doing the same combo, but why isn't it working?" So I do a little bit digging. I find out we're on different patches. Things aren't exactly the same.
Strangely enough.
Whenever I'm playing with my friend, it constantly crashes. Sometimes we can go on for like an hour or an hour and a half without crashing. Other times it's like 3 games it crashes, 3 games it crashes, right? It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
I haven't had the chance to personally play the story on PC. I've completed it on PS4 though.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes to my friend though, he was doing it on PC. He told me that he did not have some of the problems of lagging audio, right?
Okay.
But he did say there's like lots of clipping, lots of
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of weird for a game in 2019. Any like stuttering or things like that, or
No, no
really just
stuttering
like
for
weird?
him. But I
Yeah.
do know in the crypt, when it comes to Shao Kahn's crypt,
Yeah,
you're actually
yeah.
able to explore that a little
Yeah.
bit. It's kind of cool. On the PC version, I was like, there's no way this computer I spent $2,000+ on
There's
is
no way.
not running the
Yeah.
crypt
Yeah,
properly.
it's not me. It cannot be me. It has to be the game. Yeah, I feel
So
that.
the crypt is so poorly optimized. But good news is on the horizon. There was a combat cast that happened, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago.
I think I know the one where they like addressed, or at least hope to
Yes.
address a bunch
So
of
they didn't address
issues.
any of those problems, but they did address the problems when it came to the Towers of Time.
Yeah.
Now the Towers of Time are still, in my opinion, awful because why would you want to fight computers where there's assists, let alone 3 assists
Yeah.
with nets coming up, fireballs hitting you, rockets,
I think it really. I saw a tweet. I think it was by Maximilian Dude. I don't watch his videos or anything,
Oh,
but
okay.
I think it was a tweet from him that really encapsulated all the problems with it, where it's like, it doesn't feel fun to get insta-killed by a fireball from off screen.
hmm
Because how are you supposed to plan against that? You can't. Right?
No, even something like this. Get this, Corey. One of the Towers of Time, this is the objective. You have to beat it perfectly. This is the level. Poison Field. Yo, do it.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
What do you mean? Do it perfectly.
Do it perfectly.
How do you
That's
not?
how you get the reward.
How do you not take damage?
No, what do you mean? You just have to do it.
That doesn't make.
Tell your character to stop breathing. Do the input, bro.
Seriously, how are you expected to not take damage there?
So like that's the things that are just kind of overlooked, which is a little bit bad in my opinion. I don't.
No,
This is one of the
it's
few
certainly
games
bad.
that I've ever bought twice. I'm not saying that the game itself is not good. As a casual player, I'm not a professional player whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's a pretty fun game. It's not necessarily about combos. It definitely has a lot to do with neutral and punishing,
Okay.
right? But the bad thing is whenever I'm with one of my friends, the same one on PC, it kind of just devolves into who has the fastest button
Okay.
and basically resetting off of knockdowns and how you can mix them up.
Does this come from your penchant for like different fighting games, like more?
No, it does not come from my
No?
penchant at all. It's just his personality grows on me. Right, so I've moved from a Shao Kahn player to now a Kano player.
Oh, so it's just pure
Right.
like
It's pure devolved to one.
pure slime, I guess. Just
It's pure
Kano
slime.
ball.
It's devolved to just resetting with low grabs, low tick grabs, and high overheads.
Oh god.
And then after grabs, oh the grabs
Yeah.
are plenty. Throwing knives.
That's
but
pretty gross.
That's what it devolves into. The story itself,
Yeah,
not
let's-
necessarily
I was gonna
too
say,
crazy.
Let's hear the story.
or
'Cause-
too good. I'd give it a 6 out of 10, but we can jump into it. It's about Chronica. So
Yeah.
she is actually one of the elder gods' mother.
yes,
which would
she's
be-
if I'm remembering correctly, so she's that kind of top elder god,
That's right.
and is the mother of the deceased.
Cetrion.
Oh, well, she's the mother of the deceased Shinnok,
hmm
who Shinnok is the brother of Cetrion.
That's right.
Yeah, so she's Cetrion's mom as well.
Yeah, so the whole thing is about like how Raiden has gone too far with Shinnok's amulet, Edge Raiden with his black clothes and his red lightning.
I love Edge Raid. Not even gonna lie, I think it's great.
Yeah, he's very cool.
Yeah.
I like him. Super, super cool. So now, what's her name? Not Cetrion.
Chronica?
Chronica is saying that the balance has shifted, so that's why she comes into play, and it's kind of cool. And we go back and we get to see some younger characters, young Liu Kang, young Kung Lao,
Yeah, yeah.
And you also bring back Shao Kahn, right? That's
Yep.
why he's back.
hmm
We also see Baraka, his whole clan, the Tarkans were, extinct.
Yep.
But now they're back. And so is Jade. And we learn that Jade and Kotal Khan actually have a
They
relationship,
do, yeah.
which is kind of cool, to see. But it was pretty cool to see Shao Kahn again. the main big bad boss, and he's kind of like, what the hell's going on
Yeah.
here? Kotal,
See all of his reactions.
Kotal
Yeah.
Khan, what's wrong
Who's
with
this?
you?
Yeah.
You're weak.
Yeah.
And he literally like Batmans him. He puts him in his
I was gonna say,
place.
doesn't he put him in like a wheelchair or something?
He basically does. He doesn't put him in an actual wheelchair.
Okay,
You don't
he's-
see Kotal in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
but
He paralyzes
he
him though, right?
he backbreakers him. He puts him on his shoulder and literally snaps
the-
his spine.
Like classic. Is it like actually like shot for shot Bane style? Like
No, it's not Shop
Okay.
Shop Banes. I wish.
Yeah.
It's his own Shao Kahn version.
fair enough.
And there's even like memes of like you know Joe from Family Guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, then they just have Kotal Khan's
Oh,
face on him.
God.
But then after you have Melina taking over.
Yeah.
But while at
Or,
that
sorry,
point,
Melina or
sorry, not Melina.
Katana.
Katana.
Yeah.
Katana now takes over as Khan, right? Which is kind of exciting in her own right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole bunch of jokes going on, and I love throughout the story, you get to see the older versions of the characters meet with the younger versions,
Yeah.
right? Even with Johnny Cage.
I was gonna say,
right?
yeah.
Johnny Cage,
Yeah.
old Johnny Cage is actually caring about his family, and he loves
Actually
his
has
wife,
a family.
Sonya,
Yeah.
right? Now, it's kind of interesting because at the beginning of the game, you lose Sonya, and I say lose because she dies
Yeah.
doing her final mission.
Yeah.
And with Cassie and everybody.
Yep.
But as soon as the mission's over, after Sonya told them to leave, then you have young Cassie coming. Sorry, not young Sonya
Young
coming
Sonya,
in,
yeah.
right? And you have young Johnny, and young Johnny is obnoxious as hell. He's
Young
like,
Johnny's
oh, I
young
get
Johnny.
to tap that,
Yeah,
you know?
young Johnny
He's
is
going
young
in.
Johnny, man. Like,
Yeah, he's definitely rude and obnoxious.
Of course.
Great moments of he, himself, and I. Obviously, with get to scratch on his face. He's like, look what they did to our face.
Did
You
our
know, he
face.
charges in.
yeah.
But older Johnny is definitely showing how he's matured. Great voice acting, in my opinion. Sonya's voice acting.
Does Ronda Rousey do Sonya or
That's right.
Cassie?
She does
Sonya. Okay. I forgot.
Not
about
the
it, yeah.
best, but I'm sure you guys already known that because it's everywhere in the subreddit, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. And then after we kind of have the Shirai Ryu. We kind of have like these little Shirai Ryu and the Lin Kuei
Yeah.
factions. So we have Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Yeah.
They're kind of on their own journey
Yeah,
because they have
they're-
to shut down.
They don't hate each other anymore.
No,
At least the present versions don't hate each other anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like on their own missions together because they got to shut down Sector because he's back because of the time skip
Yeah.
and everything. But the thing is while everything's going down and you get to see all these characters interact with each other, there's a couple holes, I feel. You don't see a younger
Okay.
version of Sub-Zero, right? I guess you could argue. But Dom, we do get to see Noob, and Noob was Sub-Zero in the past, right?
Yeah.
But that's not really
Yeah.
a thing. You also don't get to see a older version of Aaron Black. Well, young Aaron Black is a bad guy, and he's working with Shao Kahn and the two Kanos, which I love, by the way, and them working together.
Yeah.
But you don't see an older Aaron Black. What's that about? I love Aaron Black. He's mad cool. He's one of the cooler new characters that
Yeah, I
showed
would
up.
agree.
Maybe even a young Kotal. You could expand on that a little bit
Well,
while
may-
he's in prison. You know, he's like, oh, snap, I'm Khan now.
You know,
What's
maybe
up?
even two Devoras.
True.
I don't know. It could be cool.
There's no two Devoras. There's, yeah. You can't show how Devora evolved, quote unquote.
Yeah, because she's way more insectoid in this one. Which would be very interesting to see kind of how that was changed. Because I think I don't know if I mentioned this to you just like on the show here, or just like casually, but like in MK10, she was basically just like a yellow bald woman
That's right.
wearing like a bikini and a hood. And then
Amen.
now she's appropriately like disgusting, and I don't want anything to do with her. So
She's definitely creepy.
yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Well, but even in her moves, because I remember when we were talking about MK11, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, like her moveset and stuff, like it's just
It's off.
just gross, man. Like she throws up in your face, she'll like turn you into the spider sack, and it's just disgusting. She'll like implant eggs in you, like dear God, get away from me.
That's good. It sets the tone really well. But the good news is all the stages were beautiful. And besides the many plot holes in the story, it was pretty good. You got to see Fire God Liu Kang,
Yeah.
which was mad cool.
Of course.
It's the fusion of Raiden and Liu Kang.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice because Raiden kind of just destroys Liu Kang every time. Not destroys, but he kills him,
Yeah.
right? But this time he's like, I'm going to do you right. And then he makes him a god, which
Yeah.
is really cool.
Yeah.
And even when you play as Fire God Liu Kang, still has the same moveset as Liu Kang, but he has lightning
A little
particles.
bit of flair, yeah.
Instead of
yeah.
shooting fire, sometimes he shoots lightning. His kicks are lightning, it's
Mhm.
nice. I wish it was a costume in game. It's not. Many of the scenes in the game where the characters are wearing different costumes are not costumes in the game, but you could only think that maybe it will soon come. But then again, maybe Fire God Liu Kang is, and I didn't look, so I'll keep that. But for
Yeah,
sure, the
yeah,
Tarkatan Liu Kang and the Tarkatan Kung Lao are not in the game, so
yeah.
we'll see.
DLC maybe. Hopefully not.
Yeah, yeah. The end story though with Chronica, the build up towards it, the last boss battle was kind of bad
No,
in
yeah,
my opinion. But to be fair, I never thought that AI boss battles are really a big
yeah.
thing
Especially
that
in
I
like a
like.
fighting game, it's
hmm
kind of tough, right? Like, how much can you really do
Sometimes
realistically?
she just goes off and just smashes like these crazy moves, but other times she just does nothing and literally stares at you.
Really weird. Okay.
But yeah, overall 6 out of 10. Sometimes I got some good laughs out of it. I loved seeing Shao Kahn. I kind of thought it was dumb though how Katana just kind of overpowered Shao Kahn, and I'm like, what is going on? This
Yeah, I
would
heard that
never
was
happen.
I heard the sort of power levels in that situation were a bit strange because I mean like a big part of Katana's character is like she couldn't beat Shao Kahn regularly normally. You know, like in MK9, it
hmm
took like a whole bevy of people to come together to beat him, and him and Sindel because he brings back Sindel. And then yeah, she kind of just does it no problem in this one,
hmm
which I mean, you know, maybe is in relation to like you know it's a different Katana now versus like an older
Yeah, it's a
like a
different
yeah
timeline. That's what the whole thing is,
yeah
right? That Chronica's like, in all the timelines, Raiden, you always lose. And he's like, oh, okay, well, not this one. It's kind of generic,
yeah.
but it is what it is. Jax actually showed lots of character development in the story. I'm
Hmm.
not going to talk about his arcade. In the story, he after like all these years of war, he is tired. His mind is addled, especially as being like a revenant. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
He is not fit. He's been discharged. He's not fit to be in the army
Special
anymore,
services.
as
Yeah.
special
Yeah.
services. So he's at home, and his daughter, which his name is
Jackie.
Jackie, she loves her dad. She wants to take care of him, right? And then they see young Jax, and young Jax is
Young
like
Jax is
already with his
in
new arms. He's
prime
feeling
of his
good.
life, right?
And Jax actually ends up joining Chronica because she comes to his house and she says, your daughter actually shouldn't have been in the army, she
Yeah.
shouldn't have been in the
Yeah.
service, Secret Service. And he's like, that's what I wanted for her. I always wanted the best for her. So Chronica kind of plays on those
Yeah.
heartstrings, and
Yeah.
I felt like there was lots of character development
That's
there
good at
for
least.
at
Yeah.
least Jax.
I feel like especially in like Mortal Kombat, you have these individual pockets of character and interesting character developments, right? Because I mean, there's really only so much you can do with certain characters, right? Like how much, realistically speaking, how much development could like Reptile or somebody have? Like I know he's not in the game, but
hmm
you know what I mean. Like there's just a lot more to play around with different characters, you know. So you mentioned Jax. Jax now has a kid. That's a whole other aspect of his character you can mess around with. Same with Johnny Cage.
Same with the Cage family. Yeah, there was
Yeah,
lots of growth there with young Sonya saying she could almost see herself having a kid with young Johnny,
yeah,
because it was hilarious. She
yeah.
was repulsed and disgusted by him.
Understandable. Yeah, understandable. But yeah, I feel like it depends on what character you're talking about. I know a big part of Mortal Kombat has always been Scorpion and Sub-Zero,
hmm
and then in their MK11 incarnations, at least the newer ones, not the past ones, they're working together,
That's good.
right? They don't have their ninja masks on.
He's
I'm
Master Hisashi now. He's
yeah.
no longer
Yeah,
Scorpion.
sorry. I was gonna say I don't know if I want to call them friends, but I mean like they refer to each other by names instead of just like code names or whatever. So like, again, it depends on who you're talking about. Which I've always been a fan of. At least in my case, again, I'm a huge Smoke and Noob fan, so they've been together a lot.
That's right.
Um,
Bihan, that's the guy.
Bihan, yeah, Sub-Zero OG, then Noob, and then I think it was Deadly Alliance when it was Noob Smoke.
hmm
They were like together as one character. Big
That's
shout out to that.
mad cool, man. Oh,
Yeah.
he looks so cool in this
He
game.
does. Yeah, I really like how they've kind of touched up his aesthetic because the whole thing is like with his he's got the shadow and then he's got like portals and wormholes and they've kind of combined that into this like weird ectoplasm type looking thing where it's like it is a shadow but it's all like drippy with like this
hmm
black goo and then like his portals always have like some kind of black goo dripping off them and I think it's really neat. Um, Definitely again very intimidating, very
I
scary.
think, though, if they want to make the game better, give more characters more mids, because nobody has like really any good mids.
Oh,
Like their ones and twos are mostly highs,
okay.
which are either fast or slow. Like their ones are usually fast highs, and then twos are usually slow highs or something like that.
Sure.
Like just more mids in the game. I want to be able to hit people with combos.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But then again, maybe that's just because of the way I play. I just felt like it's just better to just go for resets on people
Yeah.
and play with their heads.
Okay, that's interesting that you say that. Maybe I gotta wonder if that was something that they've picked up on, or if they even intended to do or not.
Hmm.
I gotta wonder because I didn't see that was the case, at least when they were talking about
No,
the
no,
gameplay,
no. It's just that
combat
like
cast and everything.
when you look at it, right, it seems like people are gonna actually fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
do it
at the level I
properly.
am, or
Yeah.
whenever I play a game, right, if you duck, you're not gonna get hit by any of the fast buttons. I guess you could
Yeah.
always do down ones,
Yeah, yeah.
right, and then after that leads into stuff. But some characters don't exactly have good down ones that lead into
Yeah.
anything. So
Huh,
we'll see.
interesting. I mean, do you have anything else for Mortal Kombat would recommend so far?
I don't know if it's worth $160. Sorry, 180 that I
Oh,
spent on it.
yeah, because you bought
But
it twice. Yeah.
I will say that it was worth the purchase if you like fighting games. And I think that they actually have been pretty receptive to the community. It's not even been a week. And while people did say that they weren't really listening, even on the Combat Cast,
Yeah,
when people
yeah.
were bringing up PC, nothing was said. But just yesterday, right, or a day ago, I can't remember, they tweeted out and they said, yes, we're aware of the PC and the Switch issues. We're going to
Yeah.
get you guys patched up. Maybe
Yeah.
not like right away, but next
They'll do their
week for
best,
sure.
I'm sure. Yeah,
Right?
hopefully. that'll be
Along with the
case.
current rewards that they're going to give for the Towers of Time. That's
Yeah.
already been god awful.
Yeah, I think they're
And
gonna
it's gonna have to
hopefully fix up the grind a little bit, because that is a
Mhm.
bit weird to have in a fighting game, I think. So.
Oh, before we end, Corey, it's a little bit long on that episode, but I wanted to ask you this. So, have you checked out any of the currencies?
I have, yeah. You were saying there's
Right. So there's like
different
I think there's like
currencies?
5 or 6 different
Okay.
currencies. But the general two that you need to worry about are like time crystals and then actual coins. The other ones that you have are, I wasn't gonna say they're negligible, but they're just, for this question, it doesn't really matter. So generally for the crypt, you have the regular coins that you get through just playing, which
Yeah.
is you get them enough if you win, right? You get like
Yeah.
500 coins.
Yeah.
But quests currently give like 100,
Yeah.
100 coins, and you
weird that
need
they have
like
quests in the
10,000
first
or
place, but-
12,000 to open up a chest.
Yeah.
Up to. And then after, that's the only way you can get like minor things or a chance to get something good. But the problem is that it's not like the chests are random because everybody gets the same thing at every single interval, right? But you get real chests. But sorry, with time crystals, which you can actually buy with real money, you can't buy the currency with real money. You get a chance to look at the shop and you could see which outfit that you want.
Yeah.
So
you
is
have
this
more
kind of
the-
like a pay to win thing, do you think? I wouldn't really say MK is kind of pay to win, which I've seen many articles say that it's encouraging.
Yeah. Well, I know it's. I remember. I can't remember whose combat cast it was. It might have been for Devora and Cetrion. I can't quite remember, but they actually brought. I think it was one of their brand managers on, who said, like, specifically, Mortal Kombat 11 is not pay to win. All the payable stuff will be cosmetics only. I'm not sure if that's entirely the case. I mean,
It is to, yeah.
yeah, like,
It is mostly.
well, I was going to say it's hard for me to really say specifically if that's the case or not, because I don't have it.
You haven't
right?
dabbled,
I haven't
huh?
actually like sat down and played 10 hours, however many hours, in online against other people, right? So, I'd really like to believe them when they say that it's cosmetics only. I mean, obviously,
They did also lock behind fatalities, which is whack
which
in
is
my
whack.
opinion.
Same with Frost. Do you have to buy Frost, or do you unlock her?
No, you can unlock her, but they just said, "Oh, you can unlock Frost," and it doesn't actually specify where you could unlock Frost, which is a little bit of a scummy move in my
Yeah.
opinion, because they don't say instead of just doing Chapter
Yeah.
4, because you get her really, really early on.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know at least. But yeah, I don't know. I would like to hope that they stick to just cosmetic stuff. I guess we'll see if that's the case or not.
We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, on that note, I guess we'll sign off for the week. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Like, subscribe, notifications for us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter if you'd like. We'd love to hear from all of y'all. And yeah, we'll take off for the week, and thank you again for listening.
All right, and have a good day.